Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to make a super fun and colorful teacher tumbler. This is perfect for teacher appreciation. I guess I'm a little late for that, but it would be a great gift for a teacher at any time. They should be appreciated all year round. So I really hope you guys enjoy the tutorial. Let's go. Okay, we are going to get started with this super cute sheet of patterned vinyl, and we're going to use a 20-ounce skinny straight tumbler. So when I purchased the template, I just made sure to buy the 20-ounce skinny straight template. I will have everything I'm using in this video listed and linked down below in the description box for you if you want to use any of the same things. And because we're cutting out a template here, I'm going to take my patterned vinyl and take some painter's tape and put that blue painter's tape on top of my patterned vinyl so that when I go to cut out my template on my silhouette, it's going to cut the template out, and then when we weed out the insides to go in and glitter it, we'll already have all of the edges masked off. So that will help us keep all of our lines really clean and just make everything a whole lot easier. We won't have to worry about taping off any of those sections as we work our way through glittering the template. Now, because we added essentially another layer to cut through, we are going to want to increase our cut pressure so that it will cut through the tape and the vinyl. So on my silhouette, typically I cut with a pressure of like 17. I increased that to 21 to cut through this, and it cut perfectly cleanly. So just keep that in mind. I would cut on like a heavier setting. So once I've got my template cut out, I'm just going to cut away all of the remaining edges, and you can see that the painter's tape peels right off that vinyl super easily. You shouldn't have any issues damaging your vinyl or anything like that. I wouldn't worry about it. So now I'm going to weed out all of this excess cut vinyl so that we can apply the template to our tumbler. Now, I wish that I would have used transfer tape. I was feeling very confident when I was doing this. So I just went in and applied the template like just a regular sheet of vinyl, and I wish I would have used transfer tape. So I would recommend using transfer tape, but I peeled the vinyl off the backing sheet before I went to apply it to my tumbler just to make sure that everything would come off easily and I wouldn't run into any hiccups there. So what I'm going to do is take my tumbler tool from Camipaige Boutique and use it to draw a straight line on my tumbler. This is going to help me line up my vinyl so that it is applied straight. Now, spoiler alert, when I applied this, somehow I still managed to not get it straight, but that's okay, it turned out fine. So anyway, I'm going to go in here and just apply my vinyl like normal. Like I said, I would highly recommend using transfer tape. It'll work just fine over that painter's tape as well. I'm just going to go in here rogue, and you'll see kind of what happens as I go. Because I didn't use transfer tape, all of those little pieces that were cut out were kind of like moving about the cabin as they wanted to. So I had to kind of finagle things and move them around, reposition it. But I wouldn't have had to do that if I'd used transfer tape. So anyway, the moral of this entire video is use transfer tape. So once I finally had the template applied to my tumbler, I was ready to go in and get everything glittered. Now there are 5 letters in the word teach. There are 5 little stripes in our rainbow, so we're just going to match those. Again, I'll have all of the glitter names and everything listed in the description box along with links and discount codes for you. I just picked some colors that matched the vinyl the best I could. So we're going to use Beesley, Liberty, Cool Mom, Halos, and Jacks, all from Peachy Olive Glitters. And then for the wooden part of the pencil, I'm going to use Goddess from Peachy Olive Glitters. For the pencil lead, we're going to use Gandalf. And then for the silver part on the pencil, we're using Guy Diamond. And then finally for the eraser, we're going to use Lost for Words. Now I'm going to go through this and start with my darkest color first. And when I go through, I'm going to remove both the painter's tape and the pattern vinyl underneath to expose the stainless steel, just making sure that all of the edges are pushed down really well so that we get really clean, crisp lines. I'm starting with my navy blue color. This is Liberty, and I'm going to be using Mod Podge for this project. I don't love Mod Podge, but it's really great for when you're doing a lot of different glitter colors back to back. Because it dries so quickly, you can really prevent a lot of cross-contamination with your glitters if you use something that dries fast. So I'm going to mix a little bit of my navy blue acrylic paint with the Mod Podge and then go in and base coat both my letter in Teach and the piece of the rainbow that we're going to glitter using Liberty. When I picked my glitters, at least for the rainbow and for the word Teach, I tried to keep all of the glitter sizes around the same cut. I feel like it just looks better when you have everything the same size versus some chunky, some fine. Especially in a design like this, I feel like it just looks so much more cohesive and finished if the glitter sizes are the same. Now on the eraser and the pencil tip and all of that, I didn't really pay attention to the sizes. I just wanted the rainbow and the main word to be the same glitter cut size. It probably doesn't really matter, but that's just personal preference for me. So after I had the navy blue down, I brushed off as much of the excess glitter as I could with my chip brush, and now I'm going in and glittering the pencil lead and the metal eraser attacher part. I don't know the scientific term for that, but you guys can see what I'm doing. Then after that, we're moving back into our rainbow glittering. We're going to go in with our Lake Tiffany blue aqua teal color next. The glitter I'm using for this one is Beesley. Now just keep in mind when you are painting your Mod Podge and acrylic paint mixture on here, you want to make sure that you have one, really good coverage with your paint, and two, that you have enough paint and Mod Podge on there that you're going to have really good adhesion. Sometimes I just go in with like way too thin of a coat and my glitter doesn't really stick well. So just make sure you're using enough of that paint and Mod Podge mixture. Just make sure you're not like glooping it on. It's a very delicate balance. So once that's done, I'm again going to brush off as much of the excess glitter as I can with my chip brush and then move into my middle section. This is going to be our hot pink. And now notice on the A, there's that little middle part. I'm going to leave the painter's tape on the A while I paint and glitter it. But once I've got it glittered, I'm going to go in and remove just the painter's tape from the middle of that A so that you see just a little tiny piece of that pattern vinyl in the middle of the A. So I'm just going to continue working my way through this template. We'll finish up our rainbow and our word and our pencil and all of that, and then we will get on to the next steps. All right, so all of our glitter has been applied to our tumbler. I did let this sit for about maybe 15 minutes after glittering. And now I'm gonna go in and remove all of the remaining painter's tape from around the template so that we can expose that super cute sheet of patterned vinyl. Just be really careful when you do this. You don't want to puncture your vinyl underneath. So just be sure when you're pulling up your tape that you are only grabbing your tape. If you want to use a different tool to do this, go for it. Do whatever you're comfortable with. These tweezers really worked out well for me in just picking up the painter's tape. But just be careful as you go. Make sure that you're not ruining the pattern vinyl underneath your tape. Doing this was so satisfying for me. I was so excited to see what the glitter looked like with the pattern vinyl and like being able to see the entire design come together. It was just really cool and I was so excited about it. We do have a little bit of excess vinyl up over that top rim, so I'm going to take that and get it as tightly pulled over the rim as I can, and then take a craft knife with a brand new, very sharp blade on it. I'm just going to go through and shave off all of that excess vinyl from the top. No big deal, you can't even tell that it was not straight in the first place. We'll finish the bottom a little bit later, but I let the glitter dry overnight, then I spray sealed it with 2 coats of Rust-Oleum clear gloss spray, then added 2 coats of epoxy, and now I'm ready to go in and do all of my sanding. We're really going to focus on sanding the top rim really well and sanding the seam of the vinyl. A little bit of glitter got in there, so it lifted just a little bit. I am going to sand, obviously, as you can see, the entire body of the tumbler, and now we are ready to go in and do all of our outlining and additional vinyl work. I decided to add a couple of these wavy lines in between our Teach and our rainbow pencil because I want to use them also to cover up the seam on the opposite side. So I wanted to add a couple here just to tie the whole thing together and make it look a little bit more cohesive and not like we just slapped a piece of vinyl on the seam. I don't really like the way that that looks when you just put a piece of vinyl over a vinyl seam. So I'm going to try and cover the seam up in a little bit more of a fun way. So these are from my Wavy line pack, my SVG file. I will have that listed in the description box. So I took 2 of the thinner lines and put those in between Teach and the rainbow, and then we will add a couple more to the seam side. But we are going to first add our outlines to our template. Now, when you buy the template on Etsy, it comes with the regular template as well as the outline. So I just cut that out like normal on my silhouette. I'm using silver texture metallic vinyl from Cricut. And we're going to start with the Teach outline. Now I'm going to just eyeball this outline and do my best to get it lined up. These are really big letters, so it was pretty easy to get this placed perfectly. If you have a hard time with this, you can always use parchment paper underneath your decal to help you line everything up, or you can do this piece by piece if you wanted to break it into smaller sections, or if you place it and it's not right, you can always remove it and try again. So I'm just going to repeat that exact same process with the outline for our rainbow pencil, and then we will take care of the pattern vinyl seam. Now, I was not as perfect when I applied the outline for the pencil. I did have to go through and cut around the outlines for the rainbow. I just cut them at the base and then repositioned them just to make sure that they were lined up as good as possible. That's one thing I really love about this textured vinyl, is that you can cut it apart and piece it back together. And once it's under epoxy, you can't really tell that you've done that. It really just blends in super nicely. So I'm just going through here and fixing my poor outlining of my glitter. But anyway, once I had that on, I went in and covered up the seam of the vinyl the best I could. Now this wavy line is actually the thinner wavy line, just offset. So I created an offset that was 0.175 inches in width, and I just cut that out as my larger wavy line. The large wavy lines that come in the pack already were just too big to fit in this spot, so I just kind of worked with what I had and came up with this solution. I added another one of these super thin wavy lines right underneath that just to tie everything together, and now we are going to finish off the bottom of our cup. So I'm going to take some thin painter's tape and line it up with the shorter side of our pattern vinyl on the bottom, just taking my time making sure that I'm not going to have any stainless steel gaps down at the bottom of the cup. And once I've got that taped down, I'm going to take some scrapbook paper and wrap that around my cup, mask it off, and then I'm just going to spray paint the bottom of the cup with regular matte white spray paint. You can do whatever you want to the bottom. If you want to glitter it or whatever, you can. But I let that dry, and then I added my final 2 coats of epoxy. So here is the final design. I am so happy with how this turned out. I just love when you have a vision in your head and it actually comes to fruition in real life. But anyway, I really like this cup. I hope you guys do too. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, love you. Bye.